Every who down in Who Newville liked the holidays a ton, but where to get great prices on gifts they had no idea. None. They searched and they searched for great gifts under $25. Gifts for spouses and friends and even their toddlers. When suddenly one who shouted, Walmart has what you want, knowing they have Lego, Tree Hut, and low prices to flaunt. So they enjoy the holiday season as who's often do. Cheering and shouting, Walmart has incredible gifts. Who knew? Find gifts they'll love under $25 at Walmart.
From toddlers to teens,
and social media to screens,
we have so much to be mindful about as parents in the digital age.
Bruh.
As Black and brown moms with 6 kids between us, we're excited to be partnering with Meta, a company that is committed to supporting parents in this digital age, and to be answering some of parents' biggest questions about technology, safety, and raising resilient kids.
We'll double click on AI, technology, and online safety through expert insights and our own parenting wins and fails, because none of us have this figured out.
I'm Samantha Danielle, content creator, writer, and mom of 3 teens.
I'm Kanika Chadda-Gupta, TV journalist, podcast host, and mom of Irish triplets in elementary school.
And this is Parenting in the Digital Age with Sam
and Kanika, brought to you by Meta.
Parenting today is a wild ride. All our parents had to worry about was on the TV. Now we have social media, AI, and apps for everything. And to put the icing on top, our kids think Google is smarter than us, which, I mean, sometimes they're not wrong, but it's a lot to keep up with.
Oh my God, of course. And that's why we are so excited for today's guest, because she has social down to a science. She's a stand-up comedian, screenwriter, producer, actor, and is an immigrant mom of 3. She's figured out how to use social media to bring her family together. She spent 16 years as a stay-at-home mom before taking the leap into comedy, and now she's headlining shows worldwide, has millions of followers online, has a published memoir, and her own show.
She is a real pivot queen.
Please welcome my dear friend, my Didi, whose older sister, and everyone's favorite Indian auntie, ZARNA GARG.
Yay! Thank you. Thank you for having me. Namaste, everybody. So excited to be here. So excited to be here.
Listen, we will be your hype squad anytime. I have been following you and listening and getting to know your story. It is so inspiring how you went from being a stay-at-home mom for 15 years to doing a full pivot, comedy, and now a televised sitcom. Please tell the girls who are over 30 at home, how did you make this happen?
You know, desperation plays a big part in my life.
Wow.
I really needed to get back to work. I was a stay-at-home mom for 16 years, and 16 years of being home with the kids full time, I learned something. I'm not that into them.
Same.
I thought it was soul crushing. I thought it was, the thing is that I've learned now that I love my kids, but I hate the job of mothering.
Yep.
I think that burden is just, it's actually untenable on women in America in particular, where there's no support structure, social, financial, nothing. So I really wanted to get back to work. I was struggling to get back to work. Just so everybody knows, I failed at many, many businesses. I tried being a matchmaker. That was a horrible business. I don't recommend it for anybody. It is such a sad business. All you're doing all day is giving people therapy. Everybody is too good for everybody else. Oh my God. It was a cycle of like nobody wanting to meet anybody that was available to meet.
So you're not going to help me find my love. It's not like I can't call you to find my love.
I think if you want to find your love, your best bet is to do what I did, which I describe in my story. I put a very clear ad out into the universe in 1997.
Oh, okay.
I met my husband online in 1997. It's true.
I'll get details online. I need the recipe. I need the exact address of where you put the ad at in the universe, because yes, I need it.
Yes. And that'll work. I'm telling you, it will work.
So it sounds like you failed forward. We say failure, but it sounds like you failed forward, because you said you had several things that didn't work. Some of those sound like they could definitely be turned into comic things, and you use that to build to where you're at. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
The irony is that as much as, it's a toil to take care of our kids, it was your kids who sparked that light in you to actually pursue comedy. So how did that come to be?
They conspired against me, my kids. The thing is that they were watching me try and fail. Every day I was telling a new story of like, I made all this vegan chili and no one wants to buy it. Like, why doesn't anybody want to buy it? And or whatever my business was. And they were watching me, and my daughter and realized, she's like, mom, it's not all these products, it's your stories. It's just stories that people are getting attracted to. And I never once thought about it. I had a history of hanging out with my kids after school, and I was always yelling at everybody about whatever they were doing and not doing or whatever. But no one ever
Yeah.
took me seriously. No one's ever afraid of me. And then my son, I remember when he was about 14 at the time, he said, Mom, when I tell my friends your life story, they all want to hear more. And that's like an Olympic level feat for a 14-year-old's attention, to capture the attention of these boys who are heavily into gaming and sports and whatever at that moment in time, to make them pause and actually listen and ask a follow-up question felt like,
A
okay,
high
maybe there's something
compliment.
here, right?
A really high
A
compliment because
very, I was shocked myself. And my daughter was like, Mom, you need to try comedy. You need to try comedy. And I was like, what? That's not a job. That's not a job. Like, I needed a job that paid money. And she's like, no, you can make money as a comic. And just to shut the kids up, I decided to go to an open mic and see what it was. I really thought I would go and take a selfie and leave and never come back.
thanks for the conspiracy, kids, because your conspiring was actually inspiring to mom. And I think that's so cool. And I love how you were really just really keeping it real and being down to earth about how it is difficult to parent. And it can be, I think we always hear about how parents traumatize our kids, but our kids traumatize us sometimes
Oh
too.
my God. Are you kidding?
And from a comedic standpoint, I know a lot of times you comedians are pulling from different traumatic things in their life, different real things. How has, if or has trauma impacted your comedy and your storytelling?
I have a whole buffet of trauma to pick from. Right all the way to my childhood. I had so many things. This is the whole thing. People talk about how, oh, you started late in life. But the advantage is you also have so much life to draw from. So
Yes.
many things have
Mm.
happened. You've been through the ups, you've been through the downs, you've made friends, you've lost friends, there's love, there's betrayal, and it's all real. So I've had a lot of things happen, and luckily for me, my audience is also filled with people who've had big lives. I really believe that that's why we connect with each other, that we find each other because they know what I'm saying. They've felt it. They're not imagining it. And that's why we find each other and we're part of each other's world. So much trauma, even just the decision to have 3 kids. What were we all thinking? All three of
Right.
us in this room. What possessed
Yes.
us?
0 stars, wouldn't do it again. Love you, but it definitely, comes with a little bit of a behavioral health question, like, "Girl, were you crazy?" More kids at my house than adults was quite a crazy, thing to do. You're right, Zarna.
I've been fortunate to know you for so many years, Arna, and I still remember when you told me your life story. We were at a Dos Caminos eating guac and chips in Times Square shortly after your first shoot that you did. And you were headlining at Caroline's. We decorated it like a Sangeet.
Oh.
And I feel like to see the journey you manifested all that's happening now, and it's so incredible to see. But tell our audience, how did you build the confidence to just I think do it? Because we second guess ourselves, we're too scared, and to put yourself out on social, that's a whole other level. How'd you do it?
I lean on my desperation. I use it as fuel. So some people are overwhelmed by it. I chose to be empowered by it. I start every day. I have for years, and I do today, and I probably will till I am alive. Every day I say to myself, nothing and nobody will stop me, because the world is not designed to help me. No one in this world is thinking, how do I help that weird immigrant mom in the weird clothes with the accent? But I need help. I need money. I need money to live. I need to build a life for myself. So I have to help myself. It started with that. And, people are worried about putting themselves out onto social media, but they should realize that it is actually the biggest gift and opportunity to women. Like, without social media, I would not have a career. No comedy club in New York was out there looking for a woman like
Yeah.
me. The reason I got that first step into their business is because they saw on social media how other people liked
Yep.
me. It was not even about them. They would all, I know in the early years, they used to be like, we don't really understand what she does, but everybody else seems to like her.
And it was that mindset, that determination. What I heard you just say was to get over your fears, and as women like that lack confidence, to use determination. You said desperation, but what I heard from you was determination, Zarna. You attacked it head on. You said, I don't care if the world isn't set up for me. I'm set up for me. And now here you are taking that mindset, and you have turned it into you starring in your own CBS show.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
I mean, since day one, when people have seen my comedy, people in
Mhm.
the comedy business have commented on how I'm the Indian Ray Romano.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's a
I love
very
it.
classic husband, wife, kids, in-laws.
Mhm.
People that genre of comedy has existed for a long time.
Mm.
I just didn't know that I could fit into it.
Wow.
It's usually like a white guy in the lead,
Yeah.
and his stories. But for the first time in the comedy industry, when industry bookers, talent agents, managers have seen my work and said, this is exactly that emotion, that beat, and we should do more of this. And so the idea of it has been in the air for a long time, but it's still a long road from having the idea to making it happen. You have to prove yourself every step of the way. You have to prove that you have enough story. You have to prove that you know how to write your story, because that is a whole another skill in and of itself. But everything, here's the thing, once you say to yourself that everything is figure outable, everything becomes figure outable. Once you say to yourself, well, he did it and she did it and she did it and they're just all people, then you start looking for ways for you to do it.
I love it. So I have to ask you, Zarna, for the ladies that are over 30 that have lost a lot of self-confidence from being at home with their kids, how did you find the confidence to pivot and do all of the things that you're doing right now?
You should find the confidence in knowing that you too will need money. It you really no,
Yeah.
it seems basic, but the world operates as if women and mothers don't need money, as if you can take your kids kisses to the bank to pay your mortgage.
You're
You
not
have to
wrong.
say to yourself, no one is going to come and save you. It's a fight, it's a war out there, and you have to fight it. It's not optional. And you have to say it to yourself over and over until it starts becoming part of your brain. So I just don't, a lot of people think, well, why does she work so hard? Like, it's not an option. Everybody has to work hard. And everybody who's building something has worked hard and will work hard all the time. And we have to be part of that demographic. So nothing that I do is that deep, honestly. It comes from a place of fear. I mean, and especially in America, where the kids are not being raised to believe that they have to take care of
True.
us. See, culturally, we come from a world where you gave a lot to your kids, but then when you grew up, they grew up, they took care of you. But they don't do that here. That's like double the reason to be terrified.
Yeah. You just set that mindset for yourself and you're like, I'm gonna be confident because I have to make it
Have
happen
to.
for myself.
Have
Wow.
to.
Exactly. It's like a matter of life or death to me. I've always lived like I'm living on the edge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Failure
That's
is not
great.
a nothing option.
I love
And
it. Okay. Thank
and
you.
we are so excited to see you on TV because we've seen Seinfeld, Frasier, and now it's Zarna.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Zarna.
Yes.
We can't wait to cheer you on.
We're very excited to be putting that show together. And it's very everyday. I'm keeping my clothes on the way I want. I do think that one thing I learned early in my comedy that hopefully if somebody's hearing and wants to focus on, I think the more we dress in a way that we feel productive and confident, the more confident we are. I think you
Yeah.
lose, as women, you lose so much confidence when you're wobbling on high heels and you're wearing things that are too tight for you. And now all your brain energy is into like, is that button gonna pop? Is that like, it's not necessary. Nobody cares. It's
Be
not about
yourself is
all
what
that.
I'm hearing. Be
Yeah.
yourself, be confident, and
Be
work like
comfortable.
nobody's coming to save you. I love it. Thank you for that, Zarna.
Awesome. So let's talk about parenting and how you've raised your kids for over 2 decades. And now we hear all of their opinions and their perspectives on the ZARNA GARG family podcast. Tell us a bit about them.
So when my videos became popular, I was doing so many home videos about, my kids wanting to date or my husband getting a meal that his mom sent for him or whatever. I would get a lot of questions about what they think about what we were doing.
Mm.
And I figured, it was time to like have them speak for themselves. I didn't want to be the voice of them. It didn't feel right. And also, we were kind of trying to figure out how best to serve our audience with something new. And so the family podcast kind of came about in an inspired moment of like, why don't we all just sit and chat the way we would in our living room, except we share it with the world? And when we did the first few episodes, what we found is that people were gathering their families around our episodes and having their own conversations about the same topic. So it's kind of inspired us to keep going, keep creating, and keep building these moments. We're putting ourselves out with the best of intentions and then letting destiny take its course.
Wow, that is so beautiful, and you make it sound so simple, but it really is, like, inspiring that you can get your family to inspire other families to join around.
Yeah.
And just for our listeners who may not know, how old are your kids? How old are your kids?
My daughter is 22. She's a senior in college.
Okay.
My son is 19. He's a freshman in college. And my little one is 13. He's a middle schooler. And I've been
Oh,
married for 26 years to my husband.
wow. So you literally raised kids in two different worlds.
Yeah.
You have your bigger kids that were around before social media and apps and screens were everything that they are now, to down to your youngest. How has raising them in those two different worlds been?
I mean, I'll tell you that the youngest, my 13-year-old, doesn't know life without apps. He just doesn't know that life at all. In fact, when he is talking to his friends, sometimes he'll say things like, I'm good, he'll be with a friend playing in real life and he'll say things like, I'm going to delete this play date.
Oh, now he's keeping his
The
calendar in
kids, because
order.
their world has melted, like the electric world and the real
Wow.
world. And he is also of a generation that is hyper conscious, hyper aware,
Mm,
and
yep.
there's an app for that. Like, back in the
Wow.
day, you had to figure out, is this food a good food? You read the list of
Yep.
ingredients.
The dirty dozen.
Not anymore. Now he just zaps an app on a thing and he's like, I can't eat that, that has too much salt on it.
And
He's
that's crazy.
13.
Wow, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. I feel like back in the day, whatever our parents told us, that was what we believed,
Yeah.
because what did we have to reference? Now that our phones are smarter, it's like we have to be even smarter. Like, I don't even know how it's possible that I used to have to, like, use an encyclopedia. Like, when I say the word encyclopedia, my kids are like, "What?"
Yeah.
Um, to now the kids are using Google and ChatGPT to do their homework for them. It's wild times.
I think the hardest thing about raising kids these days is that we just don't have the village. Everyone says it takes a
No,
village, and we just don't
no.
have one. We live in silos. Everybody's kind of closing the door and in their nuclear unit, and parents are just too busy. How do you forge meaningful relationships with your kids? Because I feel like a true marker of success for parents is when your kids just want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
Now, when you're older, they just wanna be with you and spend time with you. So you're definitely cultivating that. How do we do it?
I think you make it easy. You make it easy. I don't like complicated hangouts myself. During the COVID years, I instituted family walk where I would like drag the kids. All of us had to go for a walk for 90 minutes. Like it was required to be on your feet, and no, not any fancy. We just often would walk right around our building, like wherever we were. And but what I found is that when we were just walking next to each other, we started talking about stuff, what we
Mm,
wanted to do, where we wanted to go, what we were frustrated by. So I'm all about simplicity, simple solutions, cheap solutions. I'm not, you won't catch us buying any tickets to any sporting events. It's too expensive. I don't understand how families live. Like, even the cheapest seats at basketball games and football games, those are expensive things by the time you're done, and not healthy, all the food and drink. So we have had a history of doing very simple things. Like, we will do a family dinner where we will talk about like whatever one of the kids is going through. I think i think it's a lot easier for us to enter their world rather than try to get them to enter ours,
yes,
you
you're
know,
Mm,
so
wow.
right. That's great
because they
advice.
want to talk about their life. It's
Yeah.
just harder to sit there and expect them to enjoy whatever we want to talk to them about. But the goal is to open the door to some conversation and then see where it goes. So I'm the queen of cheap and easy and like simple solutions all around. Like nothing complicated in our house.
I love that. Simple solutions and just bringing your kids in. I mean, and I can say now, and you probably know because you have kids in college, it really does matter and it builds those close relationships. So when your kids are older, they want to stay connected to you, they value you. It's really where it is built. Which brings me to my next question. I wanted to talk to you about a show you had did on social media where Zoya shared that it gave her some anxiety to post. And I can relate to that. I think anybody who creates content can relate to having analysis paralysis sometimes. How did you help Zoya overcome that, the fear of social media, and use
So
that for good?
for a long time, she was not posting on social media. She was just off. She came from that generation in middle school, high school, where the girls were very mean to each other and all of that. And I understood that. So for a long time, I told her, don't do it. If you're not into it, don't do it. I would never force anybody to do something. Now she's back on because she sees the power of it. I don't know how you run a business today without being active on social media. I have taught her. We can all limit our social media consumption to things we care about. In my case, I care about my audience, I care about the stories I'm telling, and I care about building my business. Besides for that, I don't really care. If my friends went on a vacation somewhere or bought a bag or whatever, it's just not relevant to me, so I don't really pay attention to it. And you know how the algorithm works. When you stop focusing on it,
Yeah,
they stop feeding
you're
you that.
right.
You know,
That's great advice. I love it. You said take a break. You told her take a break when she needs to take a break. And then when you came back, you told her, hey, curate your social media to what you want to see. Like what you want to like, engage with what you want to engage with. I think that's great advice for teens and even for adults. So
for
thanks.
everybody. And now that she's back on, she is also building her business. And she's seeing that her feed is all about business because that's what she's focused on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
thank you.
Zoya actually helped line up this interview. So
Yes.
And she's
she
a
is
sweet
doing,
girl.
Yeah. Thank
yes,
you.
she's doing so much in between her classes. She's really following in your footsteps in her own way.
Yeah.
I want to just share some stats. 48% of parents find themselves struggling with questions on how they should monitor their teens' social media use. And 72% of parents actually speak to their teens about social media all the time. But I want to zero in on the 30% that don't get that attention from their parents. And I think this is something that you know firsthand. How do you bring in those kids that are left behind because they can fall victim to so many other things. So how do you just include other kids to not feel lonely?
By including them. By literally by including them. So if my kids have friends who are hanging around and I can tell that they kind of want to hang around, they can. Like, it's not, because nothing we do is that precious. It's really not a big deal. Like, if they want to come on a walk with us, they're perfectly welcome and invited with love to join us. I'm one of the few comics that loves having families in the audience. I personally don't see why a 12 or 13-year-old and up kid can't sit in a comedy club. We've got to stop pretending like they haven't heard a bad word in their life.
You're not wrong. That's right.
And they want
Coming
to
from us.
be with their parents. They want to laugh with us. We as a society have totally normalized this culture that all kids should be left at home and all adults should go out drinking by themselves. And it's not. I don't subscribe to it. I don't live it. I think the best way to try not to leave kids behind is really by us including every kid that we can where we can. um for example, I know food is a big, like, hunger is a big issue, especially kids after school. My house, we always have food on the table around 3:30 when the kids come home. All their friends can eat, and it's simple stuff. We're not talking about like steak. Just simple home cooked nutritious food is on the table. So if they want to come and be part of that with us, they're very welcome to do that. I actually recently did a post on Instagram and Facebook about how, as a new immigrant, I didn't know that kids were not invited to weddings. I didn't
Oh,
know that that was a thing, that that's a separate invitation, because
wow.
the world we come from, everybody's invited to everything every time.
Mhm.
And I remember taking my daughter, who was like maybe 6 or 8 months, and showing up at a wedding with the car seat and the stroller and the whole thing. And it was very cute. People were fine with it. We sat in the
Mhm.
back. We actually couldn't figure out why there weren't other kids there.
You're talking about building community. You're talking about building community, bringing families along and bringing people in. I love your family walks. I think that that is a simple but great way to do two things: build the mental health for the capacity and the physical health. While you are on your walks, I have to know, how do you talk to your kids about screen time, online safety, digital literacy, all of the things surrounding social media? How do you have those conversations? How do you like help set those boundaries? What do you do, Zarna?
So, two things that are easy tips, I think. One is, in my house, the default setting is that if you're using your laptop or your phone, you should be in the living spaces, in the living room, kitchen, dining area, wherever, not locked up in your room. I never liked the idea of the kids walking in home and just shutting the door and staying in there for hours. I feel like there's a lot of danger that can come from the kids just feeling more than what they're doing or not doing, just feeling like no one's watching them ever. That feels wrong to me. And the second thing, I don't really talk about whether or not they should have screen time and how much, because personally, I think the devices are safety devices. My kids had phones very early in life because I was trying to work so hard. I actually didn't understand everybody saying kids should never have phones, because I didn't know who was going to watch my kid. Like, how was I going to reach them? I've leveraged the use of electronics and social media since many, many years now. But what I have found is that rather than focusing on don't spend your time on the devices, I've spent some time building life around the devices that is so compelling that they themselves want to put their phones down. So I
I
think
love that.
helping each kid find that one thing that they're passionate about, that in my daughter's case, I know she loves making puzzles. She's obsessed with puzzles. So I've spent a lot of money buying puzzles and encouraging her, making space in the house so she can focus, because it's not an expensive activity. It's a very wholesome thing. It forces your brain to work a certain way. And it when you're into it, you're naturally putting the phone away because you're trying to do this. Baking is another thing my kids love to do, like very inexpensive, very everyday baking, like a vanilla pound cake. But
Yeah.
it forces you to like get the ingredients, do
Yeah.
the measurements. And so I'm all about teaching the kids to do other things so they have something else to do. The hardest thing to do is to tell the kids put that phone down, but then no one's doing anything.
That's so smart. It's just like even you like just coming up with things that like making a life for your kids that is fun, something that's more just as interesting or more interesting than being on the cell phone.
But I caution people because fun in America is tied to money. So
Mm,
I'm very, like, you will never see my family buying tickets to a basketball game and a football game. It's too expensive. In my life, Fun has to be easy and simple.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's all stress. And
I
it's
love
stress
it.
on the parents.
Yeah.
It ends up being us, because then the seats are not good enough, the snack is not fly enough, the sneakers, what are you going to wear? It can't be. And all that becomes pressure on the mother,
You're
all of
right.
it. So it's got to be, what are easy things we can do to have fun at home? I'm the queen of staycations. We rarely take vacations, it's so
Yep.
expensive,
Yep.
five of us, but we don't even crave it. We love being home and just putzing around and doing nothing.
So simplicity and accountability. Keep the kids in an open space and keep fun, simple activities that you can do and create a space for your kids that is just as fun and even more fun than
Yeah.
social media. Thank you for that, Zarna. I think those are great, actionable tips.
So, Zarna, your comedy touches on all things generational and even cultural differences, especially when it comes to social media. So, how do you set boundaries with your kids? How do you know that it's like, okay, you're allowed this much, but don't take it too far?
You have to find simple solutions to even this problem. Like, I think just telling kids don't do it has not worked, has
Never.
never worked, so it's not going to work now. But showing them what works is better. So for example, my one of my sons is all about like he's all about yoga and motivational things related to yoga. So I really encourage that in him, so that his feed automatically starts feeding in. Like, if I see anything that feels like he would be interested in, it could be a quote about what yoga does, or it could be a new yoga pant or a mat that I saw. I'm constantly pushing things into his phone that I think he can focus his attention on. Or how people are building yoga businesses on Zoom, how people are building yoga businesses on social media. The newest yogi celebrity that broke out and what they did with it. I think the answer is in building alternatives that are equally as compelling, that are educational, that feel wholesome, so that your mind is not drifting. Because as you know, these algorithms are very smart, they will give more of what you want. So as a parent, rather than me telling them, I'm constantly pushing things into all my kids' phones that I think they're gonna like.
You're using social media for good. You're sending them
Yes.
things that are gonna help them.
Yeah.
Even I like what you said about the building or making the vanilla pound cake, which made me a little bit like wanna make a vanilla pound cake. Like
Yes.
those are recipes you can find online. So you can send those recipes to your kids and be like, "Let's make that tonight."
And
So,
not expensive at all. Like,
yeah,
honestly, you're talking about the most basic ingredients. And then I will encourage them, make it, share the photos of what you made, share the process. Like, my daughter loves to bake. I'll be like, don't just make it, actually show people how you did it and make that
right?
your social media world.
So, Zarna,
Wow.
you are using
That's cute.
social media for good. You're using
Mhm.
it to influence your kids for the positive, sharing with them things that they can do offline, helping get them offline through it. You have given us some great tips. We thank you for that. And I'm going to share with you some of the things I love about social media and with Instagram teen accounts. Okay, guys? So, Instagram teen accounts has made it so easy for parents to be able to keep watch. For example, parents can now see who their teens have been messaging recently. So if teens try to change some of these built-in protections within their teen accounts, parents will be notified of the request and can approve it or deny it.
Teens under 16 are defaulted into private accounts. So that means that there are messaging restrictions where they can only be messaged by people they follow or are already connected to. There's also sensitive content restrictions, and they also have limited interactions where they can only be tagged or mentioned by those they follow.
Which we love that. We also love the time limit reminders because it'll let kids know after 60 minutes of being on social media, go ahead, get up, take yourself a walk. Gives them an accurate depiction of the amount of time they're using. And my favorite is the sleep mode, which from the hours of 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., when you have those friends who may have access to their phones at later times and they're sending DMs, your kids won't be notified. So it'll go into sleep mode and they'll see those messages the next morning. There is also so much pressure, and I say so much pressure to be perfect on social media. How do you deal with that?
Oh, no, no, no. Right, yeah, I don't subscribe to it at all. I think my social media pops because I'm so far from perfect. And people want to see real. Like, nobody is following me because I look like a model, and I don't want to look like a model. I look like a regular everyday mom. And I trust that people who want to see a regular everyday mom will connect with me in my world and we will find each other. And I encourage my kids to do that. Like, be honest and authentic about what you are, because the whole quest for perfection started with the notion that that's the only thing people want.
That's true.
And that's just not
Mhm.
true. I don't want to see, I myself don't want to see another Hollywood celebrity who looks amazing. I get it. I get it. You look amazing. You have an amazing life. You're always pristine, and I get it. But it's not interesting to me. I'm far more interested in a mom who's like living this extremely messy life but making something happen.
Yeah.
That feels more like something I can be a part of,
And
and where we can,
reality.
yeah, reality. And thank God, I'm telling you, thank God for social media, because these are all things that have come about because of social media. Otherwise, we would be living in a world where networks and TVs and Hollywood studios would only show us what they want us to see.
I think that's
Yeah.
a great reminder,
We-
Zarna, to just be real. Be real. Show your authentic self. Like that's what you've done. You've been real, a real mom. You've shown your real parenting style. And I think for the parents who are listening, like that is how you can beat overwhelm. So thank you for sharing
That's
that
real.
bit.
Yeah, no, it's so important for us to be real on the real.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what you do. Can you help us find the humor? Because this episode is about laughing to keep from crying. And there's so many moments that we just want to break down. And I think it's the lightness and the levity that can keep you going. And you have just nailed this so innately. How do we do it?
You have to remember that it's not so bad. There are so many horrible bad things happening in this world right now. There are wars being fought. There are natural disasters unfolding as we speak right now. You
Uh,
cannot turn everything into like a life or death thing. It's just not. I think if your friend didn't invite you to a birthday party, we will live.
yeah.
Everybody will live, life will go on. And you have to remind yourself, because when you're thinking of something bad that happens to you, it feels like the worst thing that could happen on earth.
Yep.
And in fact, it is so far from it. So I think constantly reminding yourself that whatever it is that happened is not the worst thing. And honestly, having a sense of fun in your own simple life makes
Yeah.
dealing with all that easier. Like, I tell
Um,
people, feel free to not invite me. I'm very happy. I am happy going for my walk, putting my headphones on, listening to my music, and being left alone. Like, I just don't need complicated things to bring me joy. And I think the more you simplify your life, the more you are able to achieve for yourself, and the less you're interested in all the other things that make you and other people sad.
Simplicity equals joy. That's what I'm hearing you say, Zarna.
I think so. I mean, like, my friends, for example, like, will get all upset about some bag they got and didn't get and all of that. Like, I don't even think about it. Like, I get upset. You know what upsets me is when I get interrupted during my walk. I'm listening to my favorite song and somebody annoys me. But thank God for do not disturb mode.
Yes.
Zarna, you often share this quote, and I've definitely been a beneficiary of it. That you are like a candle, and you light all those around you, and that never dims your own light. And you are light in our life, and you bring us so much joy and happiness. And we're just so happy to have had this exchange with you on the show. Tell us where everyone can find you.
I am on every platform at ZARNA GARG. You'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. My most intimate relationship with my social media crowd is on Instagram because I do tend to post behind the scenes stuff on Instagram stories, and people tune in from all over. I try to keep it interesting for them. Monday Motivation is one that I know gets a lot of views from all over the world because I post mom style motivations. Like, I find that a lot of motivational quotes are very businessy and corporate that like don't really speak to people like me. So I post things like best business hack, take a shower before a meeting.
And that's an
Everybody
important one.
wants to meet with
Yeah.
somebody who smells
Feel
good.
fresh.
and
Yeah.
and I remember that hack got shared like thousands and tens of thousands of times because people found it so funny. And but it's the kind of thing a mother says to her son or her
Yep.
daughter,
I love it.
but you can find me everywhere at ZARNA GARG.
So heartwarming that you reveal so much in your upcoming book, This American Woman, a 1 in a Billion memoir. I think it's just self help on steroids. We get to heal ourselves as we enjoy the hilariousness. And tell us a bit about, what inspired you to write the book and where we can find it.
I wanted to write the book so people know the nitty gritty is shitty. It's like, because
Yeah.
if you just see somebody's social media, it's easy to believe everything works out for her
Yep.
and she's always winning. This book is the story of my failures. It's a real authentic look at the inside of building a business. In fact, this book is being added to a lot of business schools in America as an entrepreneurship offering, where they talk about how a creative has built a business around social media. So it chronicles all my failures. It even talks about how when my husband lost his job, the pressure it put on me, and how I had to funnel that pressure into revenue streams that I could tie to my business accounts. So I did it really out of a sense of service to millions of women in particular who don't see themselves as a working professional or are trying really hard to break out from years and years of being buried under diapers and formula, which as I once was. The years of being a stay-at-home mom in particular will strip you of your confidence in a way that nothing else will. And I wanted to write something that gave people the courage to believe that they too can find their way out, because I there's nothing special about me and why I was able to make it work. In fact, I like to say that the most extraordinary thing about me is that I'm completely ordinary.
Hmm.
There's just nothing. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Wow.
And I've tried to write the book in the most basic plain speak English, with everything that I believe, all the tools that I use to hype myself up even to this day. And I've done it truly with a sense of like, here is my truth, and I really hope and pray that other people can make lots out of it for themselves.
Wow.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us on this special show. You just dropped so many gems, and I know the parents are going to feel so seen by hearing your story.
Thank you. And also please notice and see my horrible mother-in-law. That's a bonus.
I will definitely leave here inspired to be more just to do the work every day. I think if anyone leaves here is what I heard you say is get up, do the work every day. That's your superpower. Don't let fear stop you. In fact, let fear empower you to keep going and be your best self every day. So thank you for that inspiration, Zarna.
Make sure to subscribe to the podcast series wherever you listen for insightful tips on parenting and online safety.
And you can find me, Samantha Danielle, at samanthadanielle.com or on Instagram at Hey Samantha Danielle.
And you can find me, Kanika Chadda Gupta, on my website, that's totalmomsense.com, and on Insta at Kanika Chadda Gupta. See you soon.
See you soon.